Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at another small block fighter, and this one is called the AV-38B Idris Gunship, which is this impressive thing sitting right behind me. So this ship features a large array of weapons. It's got a bunch of Gatling guns, a bunch of rocket launchers, and even a custom turret below the nose for you to blast your enemies with. We'll go through that turret a bit later, but for the moment we can press F10, find it in the spawn menu, and see how much it is in terms of blocks. So the gunship is 2,584 small blocks, using the Warfare 2 Heavy Industry Wasteland and Sparks of the Future DLC packs. We can see a nice little information about it on the Steam Workshop page, such as the 8 Gatling guns, the 6 non-reloadable rocket pods, the 2 assault cannons, and the 1 autocannon turret. So there we go, it's got quite a lot of firepower for a fairly small ship. So give this thing a thumbs up, and I'm not sure if I should do a showcase on that or not, but I probably will in the future. Anyway, towards the very front here, we'll have a quick look around the outside, then we'll fly around for a bit, see if I can find any kind of space pirates, and hopefully we'll be able to blast them with all the weapons on this. So at the very front, this is what we get for the Idris Gunship. So front and centre, we've got ourselves a lovely grey nose, where behind it we've got a bunch of sand coloured digital camouflage skin blocks. We can also see a couple spotlights to light up the darkness, one hell of a lot of Gatling guns, our custom turret sitting underneath with its camera, wasteland spotlight, auto cannon, and then the conveyors that go across and towards the ship to funnel it with ammunition. Up and above, we've got 2 fighter cockpits, where the front one is going to be to fly this thing around, shoot all the guns, and the rear one is to take control over the custom turret to manually control it. If you were to come around onto the side, that is what that looks like, so you can see all the guns sticking out the side. There's some lovely use for our Hatter's skin block, just adding as a little strip below our cockpit. There's a bunch of hydrogen thrusters to keep us off the ground, and one hell of a lot of fantastic block work to give it that great design. Just above our wing, we've got some heat vents that should light up as we move around. Looking towards the back there, some great use for our blaster edge blocks that house some more hydrogen thrusters. Just below these steel blocks, we've got a larger atmospheric thrusters to keep us off the ground. And then for the wing itself, we have a hinge, because when we dock this thing up, we have the option of folding the wings all the way up to make sure it's nice and flush so it doesn't take up much room. Yes, on the wing itself, we've got 3 rocket launchers, and they're using the fancy new skin. They're silver bottoms, so they are like that. We've got an interior light right next to them, and around behind the wing, that's how that's been done. Looking towards the back of the vehicle, even more hydrogen thrusters, some fantastic use for our beam blocks. Then at the rear of the vehicle, this is what we get. So we can see 2 more wasteland spotlights giving off a red glow. We've got 5 hydrogen thrusters, and once again, some more beam blocks. Moving all the way up and looking down, that is what we get. So like I said earlier, fantastic use of our steel blocks, giving it that great look. There's our atmospheric thrusters. There's some parachute hatches just in case you need it. And here is our dual fire cockpit setup to help fly this thing around and to control the guns. Coming down and underneath, so that is our custom turret. If I put the light on, you can clearly see the hinge to move it up and down. And we do have a rotor right next to it to be able to spin it all the way around. Going towards the main body, fantastic use of our cylindrical columns. There's the bottom of our atmospheric thrusters, where once again we've got some fantastic use of our hazard skin block. There's the bottoms of our rocket launchers, there's a connector to help dock this thing up, and there is our assault cannons just sticking out the side, which should deal a nice lot of damage to whatever you point them at. And at the back here, what you might be able to make out is a bunch of magnetic plates to help dock this thing down onto the ground, and does have good enough clearance to make sure you don't damage any blocks when trying to land down on a docking pad. And there we go. That's a very brief look around the outside of the Idris Gunship. It looks bloody fantastic with how it's all been set up. One hell of a lot of detail has gone into it, and I really do love this section on the ship. It's such a simple little thing, it's just the half corner blocks that go all the way along, but they work so well when looking at it from a distance. And yes, now it's time for me to grab hold of my character. We'll just come into the rear cockpit first of all. So this is going to be for the custom turret. We've got very few controls, but we'll start with 8 and 9, which is going to be for our magnetic plates to turn them on and off, and then our connector to lock and unlock them. Number 1 and number 2 is for our custom turret controller, where number 2 is going to be for the AI on and off, and number 1 is going to be to take manual control of the turret. We'll have to bring the free camera over and just look down. There we go, I'll take control of it with this, back into the free camera, and now I can spin it around and shoot it if I need to. We'll just go and put it back up towards the ship there so we don't damage it. And we'll just come out of that and into the front cockpit. So these are the only controls we get for the ship, with the missing control in the middle being for our atmospheric thrusters, where I'm not too sure where those controls have gone. But yes, number 1 is going to be to fire all of our Gatling guns all together. That's quite a sight to behold. Number 2 is then for our assault cannons, where we fire them both at the same time. Number 3 is then for our rocket launchers, where we do have a script, the salvo script, allows them to fire on a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. If I was to look down, that's how they're firing. And then first person view, and just looking up, there we go. Number 4 is for our batteries to turn them on and off. Number 5 is to raise and lower our wings. First to look at it like so and press number 5. And then just raise all the way up, make sure the vehicle is fairly flush, and it shouldn't take up too much room when landing down on a pad or into a tight space. Number 6 is then, like I said, for our atmospheric thrusters. Number 7 is then for our lights to turn them on and off. Number 8 is then for our magnetic plates to turn them on and off. And number 9, once again, is our connector to lock and unlock it. With that all done and out the way, I can grab hold of my character, the wings can come all the way down. We now test fly this, and hopefully a pirate will pop in, and we can go blast them with all the weapons. So, moving forwards, on the Mars-like planet, this is what we get. We are not the fastest thing in the world, but that does make sense for a gunship. We are kind of lumbering around and ready to blast everything with all of our weapons, and well, it should be the enemies that are running away from us. Coming to a stop, that is what we get. It does feel slightly faster than moving forwards, which is quite nice to see, but you will need to plan ahead if you are charging along at maximum speed and you plan to dock at a station, otherwise you could just go splat and have your ship torn in half. Moving left, that's all we get, and then moving right, once again it's quite slow with that. Moving down, and then moving up. Moving down is going to be gravity based, moving up which should be fairly fast thanks to all of those thrusters, but does feel about the same as moving forwards and backwards. And then wiggling my mouse around, and this is what we get. Well, a surprising amount of control on this. There's only a tiny hint of weight that's dragging around, and it's generally what I prefer to when it comes to a small fighter. But yes, with that all done and out of the way, I think it's time to try and find some pirates to play around with, which I think I'm going to have to come through this menu to see. Oh, that'll do quite nicely actually. I think that's the one that I sent a couple of ships towards in the previous video, but that is a fantastic thing to test this against. So just move it slightly away, paste the ship over to here, and hopefully once everything loads in, we're ready to shoot it. Looks like there is some more pirates behind me, so I'm going to have to save this location, because that's going to be very, very good for testing out vehicles. So just come into the rear seat, turn on the AI for our custom turret, back into the front seat, and hopefully all the textures will actually load in, because otherwise it's going to be fairly odd that all the trees and stuff are flying around me. And I'll just sit here and come back once they're ready. Oh, they're now ready, so it won't need to sit here. Now it's time to charge along to see what we can do. So in first person view, I think I'll start off with the assault cannons, see what kind of damage I could do with those. I'm going to lock it on to see where my aiming reticle is supposed to be. And I think I'm just going to have to start charging into them and start pummeling all the rockets. We're being told to pull it up. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull it up in time. There is the lag spike of a quite big destruction going on there. And I'm going to need to just try and pull away from this. Can I stop in time? My computer is not happy with the amount of explosions going off. Narrowly avoided slamming into that. Now I'm just going to spin around. There is that rocket turret. I'm going to switch to the Gatling guns. Can I disable that rocket turret? I'm not sure if I can. So switch back to the rocket launchers. Just start pummeling them once again. Would have been great to have a camera on this. And there's a rocket. I love how it pauses with the rockets just in your face. Back to the assault cannons. That was a terrible miss. Now I'm just going to charge along and hopefully destroy that, pulling up and away from that. So far I think I'm having a really successful run against this pirate base. They don't seem to be shooting anymore. I think I have fully disabled them. It's going to be safe just to fly over to them and say hello with my face by slamming this straight into them. And there we go, there's the interior turret, so it looks like I broke some of the windows. My computer is not very happy today, but there we go, I slammed straight into it. I lost the front cockpit. Will this be able to fly around? Yes, it will. And we should be able to fire all the guns if I was to add them to the hotbar. But as for that, there's not too much else to talk about with this lovely gunship. There'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download it and play around for yourself. Highly recommend you do because it is a fantastic looking one and it's got a nice sort of firepower to fully disable your enemies and cause a lot of destruction. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.